we're going to be meeting in 102 because the library has a need for this room. And I've looked at it and it's very comfortable and it'll easily accommodate what we're doing. And the class will start at 12 if no one has a problem, and will run till 3. All right, and then after that we will be meeting back here. And I've also had the reservation on the room extended till the end of October. We should finish about the middle of October. The last few lessons are more informational than foundational, so they should go rather quick, but just to be on the safe side, I reserved it for the remainder of October, but we will be finished before then, I think. And then maybe we can have a little class celebration of your graduation. Okay, the first lesson today will be on one's place in life. Finding one's place in life is a subject interesting to almost everyone, for we find that most people are more or less discontented with their particular position and the work they are doing. In fact, nearly everyone is hoping and expecting to get into some other line of work, to do something else that will be more remunerative and satisfying than the work he is in at the present time. The wail of the human heart is to find its place in life. As a matter of truth, every person ought naturally to find his place in life, and there should be no friction between people because of the positions they occupy in relation to each other in their work. But just the reverse of this seems to be true. In a large organization where there are a great many departments and positions of greater or lesser importance, we find much jealousy, envy, and striving. From the office boy up to the highest official, everyone seems to have the feeling that he ought to be doing something of greater importance than the particular work that is his. Even the man at the head of the business is discontented, thinking he ought to have still a larger organization to control. So all along the line, the entire personnel are out of harmony and feel they have not found their niche in life. So it is everywhere. Paying but little attention to his present position, man hopes one day to find his place in life, with that thought that when he does find it, he will be perfectly contented in that position, happy ever after. Such a thought is like a mirage that shows up beautiful in the distance, but when the traveler arrives at the place where it seems to be, he finds it is still further ahead, or has disappeared altogether. Man seems to be striving, running, fatiguing himself, and trying to get to the place where he will find peace and happiness in his work. The crux of the whole situation, relative to finding one's place in life, lies in the fact that man is in his right place now. But failing to recognize this fact, he does not give faithful, patient, conscientious service in that position as a means of growth into something higher. The man who fails to recognize that today he is in his right place, whatever his position may be, is very much like one seeking to reach the top of a great stairway by attempting to step from the lowest step to the highest in one effort. On the stairway of life, man is in his right place in his attempt to reach the heights. He must be upon that step which he occupies now, and having accomplished that step, he takes the next, and that next step is the right one at the time. Unless he's willing to take them one step at a time, he can never go higher.
See, here's one of my big battles. Sorry, I'm not phony.
No.
Staying in the moment, but there is that insatiable drive in me to do better, to be better. For every situation that I'm in, I know I can do it better. I can be, kinder, give more. So there's always that constant, and I think that's a spiritual drive. That's the only way I've ever been able to classify it. But to me, it's what keeps me striving to be better. So for me, it seems impossible to me to both be completely happy in that moment who fails to recognize that today he is in the right place, whatever his position may be, but still have that part of me that wants to push and do better and be a little bit better tomorrow, be a little bit more spiritually focused tomorrow. So for me, that's chaos to me.
Well, see, in esoteric philosophy, we have always held that everything has its proper time, and that though one might wish for something better or greater at the moment, it may not be the proper time for that. I've known individuals who have been involved in the mystery schools who have sought to try and know everything as quickly as possible. And their attempt to do that literally burned them out. It's like taking a 10-watt bulb and putting it into a 100 or 200-watt circuit. You're going to blow the bulb. It'll be it'll last for a second or two, and then you'll have a blinding flash, and then it's out. Everything, you pace yourself, all right? You allow things to evolve in their own natural time. Forcing it, you can do that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be best for you. There's no guarantee that it will mature properly if you force it. The key here is to be patient. You do your work as you feel you need to do it. You can push for trying to, it's like climbing the mountain. You can try to get to the peak as quick as possible. And some individuals can manage it, can maintain perspective. Most people can't handle that. It's too much. The discipline that's required is tremendous. The responsibilities involved are horrendous. And though it's always nice to have that aspiration to get right there to the top, half the fun is the journey itself, not getting to the top.
But I agree with you. But I think that when I'm doing it and I enjoy it,
Yeah.
I can still see the next run and want to do it, but I don't worry about getting to the top, because who knows where the top is.
Well, see, that's the secret. See, besides, there are two great secrets. One, the first one is there are no secrets, and the second, there is no top. Because the more you learn, and it seems it seems kind of ludicrous. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't yet know. It's like this room. You can study this room and know it, and know every nook and cranny of it, every aspect of it. And if this is the only thing that you know in your life, this is your universe. All right? And in this universe, you will have a complete knowledge of, because you'll know everything about the room. But if you go over and open that door, all of a sudden, that universe that you were comfortable with, it's opened up to a whole different universe that's much more expansive, of which you know nothing about.
But then you get it. You receive joy. I'll speak for myself. I receive joy in learning more about
Right.
it.
But, the approach...
There's still no top.
Right, but the approach is, it's like if you go swimming in an unfamiliar pool, you just jump right in? No. A wise person would say, well, I'll get in on the shallow end and work my way into it, and into a more, as I get comfortable with the depth of the water. All right, because if you just jump right in, you might jump in on the wrong end, and all of a sudden you're sleeping on the bottom. But if you get in on the shallow end, you adjust to it. All right, as you walk forward in the pool, you adjust to the difference in depth. All right, and that should be a measured approach, and the same goes with esoterics, a measured approach. Now, each individual they should know what their capabilities and limitations are. Many people don't. All right, and I'm not one to say, no, you can't do that because you're not ready for it. I will just say, if that's what you wish to do, I will be glad to help you with it as much as I can. But I won't do it for you. And if I think that it's getting into an area where you shouldn't be, I will say, I don't think you should do that. You know, it's like when I was working with computers and installing software and new systems with Equifax. I would stand behind the operator at the console, and I would let him go ahead. I would show him first how to do everything, and then I would let him go ahead and start doing it. You know, and I would stand behind him, and he would type something in, and I would say, you know, I don't think I would have done just that.
Okay.
And I would do the same. You know, I don't think I would have done just that. Because as with computers, esoterics, metaphysics, there are repercussions. You know, there is something that you have to pay a price if you try to do something too quick. And some people just don't have the mental strength to do that. And I hate to see people burn out, but I've seen that.
You know what I think it is with me? I just figured it out. I don't know if anybody can relate to this. I think my problem is I need to trust the universe more, that it has me where I need to be at this time, instead of me feeling like I'm not where I need to be yet. You know, it's like the pressure, internal pressure on myself.
Like a
It's
constant goal striving.
Yeah, like I'm not far enough along.
Same with
I'm
me,
not,
yeah.
Okay, so
See.
Because
so you
I'll
get
see
that.
where I want to be, and instead of like right here it says, fails to recognize that today he's in the right place, whatever his position may be. Well, in my strivings, this usually has to do with controlling how I feel, or controlling what I'm thinking. Just self-discipline of that nature. And I have to just say, well, today I'm going to get frustrated if somebody acts a certain way. I'm human. I'm just not there yet, and be okay with that. But I'm just. I mean, that takes self-discipline in itself. But I was going to say, for me, that's the key. Because when I get there, I'm way more relaxed.
See, and then I will give you some keywords to remember. A very simple four-word phrase. Perfect love, perfect trust.
I thought you was going to say, keep it simple, stupid.
No, that's we reserve that for a lighter moment.
What did you say?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Oh, keep it simple,
The kiss,
yes.
kiss principle.
Well, and some of these affirmations are really helping too.
But if you keep that in mind, perfect love, perfect trust in the universe, the world around you, okay, that's your bulwark, your safeguard. Trust in the universe. I know that's somewhat of a nebulous thing, but we're all, wherever our point of origins are, participants in the growth of this universe. And that's what we are, participants in the growth. Both physically, spiritually, mentally, each individual is contributing to that growth of that universe. I always, I adhere to that concept of perfect love and perfect trust. I have to. And I have not been disappointed.
But it doesn't mean be complacent either.
No.
Because that's where I think my worry comes in. Because, there's so, we're in control of it. We can say no, and screw it up or step back or.
Yeah, but if it's something the universe wants you to do, it'll make you do it.
How do you like it? It's like a good parent. Whack you on the ass.
Yeah, like a good parent, exactly. You will find out that you're not necessarily the master of your own fate. Once you become involved in esoterics and trying to be in harmonious working toward being in a harmonious relationship with the creator of the universe in which you reside, but spiritually and mentally, all right, the universe, will guide you. They'll take you by the nape of your neck and, say, this is the door you need to go into. Because the universe wants you to grow. Life detests stagnation. So here you're growing. People you will work with will grow from the growth that you've experienced. That's the nature of the universe, growth. Okay? So like I say, perfect love, perfect trust, but we'll put the axiom in there. Be cautious in who you trust. The
Or,
universe you can trust.
Or trust in Allah, but tie up your camel.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's one of my favorite ones.
So moving on. So man, wherever you find him on the path and however unsatisfactory the position proves to be, is in his right place at this time, and the only way, scientifically and successfully, to find a place that will be more satisfying is to be faithful, conscientious, and contented in that particular place. And that's what I was saying. As time moves, as time evolves and the individual evolves, they evolve into a position of more responsibility or whatever. Everything, like I say, has its proper time. If a man is contented in a particular position and that position is not satisfying, he may be accused of having no imagination, no depth, and no ambition. But that is not necessarily true. There is a distinction between contentment and satisfaction. A man may not be satisfied with the sum total of his achievements and the results of those achievements, but while achieving, may be contented to finish the thing at hand. It is the discontent while finishing the task in hand that robs the man of the nerve and wisdom that take him on into the place where he may not only be contented, but to a large degree be satisfied with his achievements.
That's me in a nutshell. Bing! We have a winner.
Give the little lady a cigar.
Yeah. It caught me down on paper.
A man is not ready for those things that appear to be better and more desirable until he has faithfully, honestly, and contentedly done the work on a given scale and on a given plane. His progress will be retarded and he may never achieve anything like the desires of his heart if he frets and allows himself to become disturbed because he is not yet in the position he would like to be now. The most important element in man's achieving the things he really wants to accomplish is a recognition of the fact that he is now in his right place, and that which he is doing today is the thing he should do, that the tasks rightfully belong to him at this particular place on the path of his unfoldment, that he is to go through experience after experience until he learns to be faithful, harmonious, and contented.
They just said the same thing like
in the things that he is doing.
You think they're trying to drill it home or something?
You think?
No, but I'm feeling a little hopeless here because
No.
I've been trying. Really? Sparrow knows exactly what I'm talking about. I've been trying really, really hard to be happy where I'm at and with what I'm doing, because this isn't the first time these lessons have brought this up. It keeps coming up over and over again. And does that mean if I can't get perfectly happy, I'm never going to be able to move?
No. That's not what it's saying.
We're so screwed.
No, that's not what it's saying. What it's
Okay,
saying.
because I'm trying very hard.
Yeah, well, what
I'm
it's,
not content with my work
but-
right now.
Well, but see, what it's saying is, where you are now, all right, you perform that whatever
To the best you can.
Yeah, to the best that you can, with the resources that you have, And having faithfully done that, when the time, and getting back to what I was saying, everything has its proper time. In proper time, other things will open up for you. And stressing over it or being discontented with where you are does not aid in your progression.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's not being discontented where I am, or not liking the place I am. Or for me, it's about you didn't do your best, right?
You could have done better.
You could have done better. You could have been better today.
You've done better before. Why didn't you do this time? You should be doing better now.
That's the heck for it. Yeah. So it's all critical.
Yeah, but see, then you can take comfort in the fact that if you blow it the first time around, the universe will give you another shot at it.
And if I'm not doing it perfectly right now, I'm still where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, and
Even if I was doing it better 5 years ago, this
Yeah.
is still where I'm supposed to be.
see, and don't look at the perfectly. All right, you do it the best you can,
Yeah.
because
I don't know where that came from. I don't-
If you get hung up on the word perfectly, I mean, if we were all perfect, we wouldn't be here. There are other
Yeah,
worlds to
yeah.
be. You do it the best you can with the skills, the resources, and abilities that you have, and be content that you've done that. And that's the big thing. If you do it honestly and faithfully, and come up short, that's okay. You still put your best effort into it.
And sometimes we have to stay back, in the progression, because maybe there's someone you're going to teach something to, and you'll use that knowledge and experience that you have to teach the person that's coming up. So maybe you can't even get a promotion till you get someone to fill your shoes or something. There's a lot of timing involved, and sometimes it's hard to be patient.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's the lesson, too. Maybe
It
that's what
is.
you're supposed to be learning, and that's why you're stuck there, because you haven't learned it yet.
Exactly.
Well, no, you see, you're not stuck there. You just haven't been afforded the opportunity to advance. See, stuck, it's sort of like, the pin on the wall is stuck on the wall. It's not going to go anywhere unless somebody moves it. You're not stuck there. It's just that it's not time for your evolvement into another position. And quite possibly, and I've seen this myself, that sometimes the next position that someone is looking at getting is not really the one that they should be working on. They should just do their work, and people have been promoted to a position beyond what they were working for to start with. See, so you can't really know. So you do what you're doing faithfully and be content with your work, Otherwise, all you do is build up resentment.
Well, be contented with
And
yourself.
frustration.
Yeah, frustration, and then what you're doing, you don't even
Quality
do well.
of life is.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you do the best you can, then you don't have anything to worry about, because you're to be contented with yourself.
Well, I just realized what part of the thing is. It's not necessarily perfection that I'm going for. Sometimes I'm comparing myself to myself, but sometimes I don't have the energy to do as well as I've done before, and sometimes I don't. So, but if I'm just relaxed and I go until it's time to stop, if I haven't produced something as good as what I've done before, I need to just trust that that's where I'm supposed to be. It's still where I'm supposed to be.
Right. And be happy with that.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't
The
gauge
alternative's not.
this project success or failure based on a previous project success or failure. You dealt with that project. This is the project you're working on now, and you do it as best you can, and without having some comparative basis. All right, you don't do comparative basis, because there are some things that you will do well that you've done well in the past, which are kind of like what you're doing now, but what you're doing now may not work out. So you can't do a comparative basis. You do each thing as its own entity, as its own thing. And you, as you did in the past, you worked as best you could and produced as best you could. So with the project that you're working on now, you do as best you can with the resources and skills that you have. And be content with the outcome. If the outcome is not what you expected, well, you did your best. And you look at it as a learning experience. Where could this, what could I have done different that would have made this turn out better? Instead of bemoaning the fact that you failed, you say, well, let me look at how I got to this point. Maybe I should have done something different here, which would have altered the whole timeline.
Yeah, wisdom.
Yeah.
That's how you get it. That's how you get your wisdom.
Ding, ding, ding. Another prize. You know, if life in general was a snap, you know, you wouldn't have to worry about anything. But it's not, it's a challenge. And growth is a challenge. Spiritual, mental is a challenge. Physical is just a happenstance, a circumstance. Okay? Great. So moving on, one may plan, scheme, and play for position and succeed in reaching what appears to be a very desirable place, but when he has attained his goal, he fails to find the satisfaction there that he anticipated. Then he decides that the position is not a desirable one and begins to scheme and play again for still another position, thinking it will bring contentment of soul and peace of mind. He fails again, and so on through life, never attaining peace of mind and satisfaction of soul in the work that his hands find to do. Whereas, whatever his position is today, he is in his right place, and when he has performed his duty faithfully and conscientiously in that position, a natural law will graduate him from that position to something better. And I have found that to be true. It is the way of nature, first the shoot, then the stalk, then the ear, and then the full corn in the ear. First the bud, then the blossom, then the formation of the fruit, then the ripened fruit. This is the process of unfoldment. Does the life in a tree say, while manifesting as the swollen bud, this is not my place, I haven't as yet found my place? Likewise, if the life in that tree, when expressing and manifesting as the blossom, should say, this is not my place, I seek something better, I rebel against this, there would be friction set up in the action of the law of life in that blossom, which would blight and destroy it. The life manifesting as a bud on a fruit tree is contented and does its work faithfully, perfectly, and fully. And having faithfully and perfectly performed its work, it later on manifests in the ripened fruit. Man must get away from the idea that he is not in his right place. He is. To the degree he faithfully does the thing at hand today, tomorrow, or the next day, or in the next season of the cycle of life, the life forces in him will manifest and through something else, and as they manifest faithfully, perfectly, and fully in that something else, he will naturally unfold into still better and more glorious expression. It's like in esoterics. You learn lessons and you gain knowledge, and at some point you find yourself standing at the door of a new experience, a new knowledge. But until you're ready to pass through that door, it'll stay closed to you. Perfect the position that you are in now. Understand it to the extent that you can. And the door will then open onto newer experiences. Once again, everything has its proper time. One should give no anxious thought to finding his place and work in life, for universal intelligence within man knows what he can do best, and to the degree that he is able to harmonize with the natural working of the universal intelligence in him, the work he should do will be apparent to him. From the conscious mind viewpoint, there may be many times along the path when it doesn't appear that one is going in the right direction. One does not seem to be making progress. He seems to be standing still or going backwards, and assuredly, if he has gone on too rapidly and by conscious mind effort has attained the place of position in life which seems to be his, but in reality is not, because he is not sufficiently unfolded and developed to accomplish the task he has undertaken. He may expect to go backward, for regardless of his efforts to push himself forward, he will not be able to maintain that position. Everything in its proper time. Therefore, one should not try to move forward more rapidly in life than indicated by the quiet, natural working out of universal intelligence in him. But if he is led intuitively through the action of the superconscious mind to take steps forward, he should take them at any cost. Man should stand on the position, wherever he is, whatever he is doing, that this is the day to accomplish the task at hand to the best of his ability, in the consciousness that while he is doing it, he is in his right place. Having done his work faithfully without any conscious attempt to put himself too far ahead, and without any desire to hold himself back, if led forward, he should not be afraid to take risks. He can afford to risk anything and everything, provided he is intuitively led in that direction, and he will succeed. We are trying to emphasize the necessity of being guided and led by divine intelligence, and being faithful to that law wherever one may be on the path. And one will find his place in life, or rather, he will awaken to the realization that he is in the right place, doing the particular task that belongs to him at that particular time. Think the matter over carefully and see if your own experience does not verify the truth involved. You cannot unfold in consciousness as long as you think you should be doing work other than the task that is yours now. To feel that you are not in your right place sets up friction and resistance within. This prevents you from taking advantage of your present opportunity. The work you are doing now is the most important thing in your life, so do it with a will and joyfully, or with enthusiasm, and in time you will create a new and different environment with new and larger opportunities and responsibilities. To the statements of truth which you have been making, add the following: I am in my right place. So the combination of affirmations: I am peaceful, I have the power to think, I am in quiet meditation, I am contacting my good now, I am powerful, I am my own authority, I am an expression of the divine. The solution of my problem is an infinite mind. I am myself. I control my emotions. All is good. I give of myself. My faith is creative. I rejoice. God in me is love. I am in my right place. Questions? Comments?
I've just, when we were reading that last part, I've experienced that here. I thought it was strange too. I mean, I kind of was aware of it because of the whole back of the bus concept, but where I was not confident to do something, and I wasn't, and I wasn't, and I wasn't, and I wasn't, and then all of a sudden I was, and it was just like, and I did it.
Yeah.
And it was no problem. And I could never make logical sense of it, you know, but I know I could see sometimes where I was getting skills around the edges that were preparing me for it. But I don't know. It just helps. It just helps confirm this to my rational mind that I can relax where I am now, because stuff's happening that I'm not aware of that could be preparing me for the next step. And,
Right. Well, there's, and along that line, there is the philosophic concept. What senses do I lack that I do not see the other worlds around me? And all those other worlds interact.
Well, for me, I think it's just incredibly comforting to have this, to be told you're in the right place. You don't need to stress about, that you're not doing good enough, or you're not where you should be. Or for me, it's almost like a loving hug that says you're okay. You're in the right place. You're doing all right, because there's so much self-critical talk that it's almost like you can sit down and go, like take a breath, because it's okay. Everything's all right.
Just thinking, there's also you don't have to figure it all out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's being
Right.
taken care of.
Right. Yeah.
Sort of thing in there too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Trust.
Mm-hmm.
Trust.
Yeah. Yeah, trust the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, I have found that to be true. And if you find it to be true, then you might say that we have found a truth, a universal truth. But it's for each individual to find in their own experiences. When I was doing my sabbaticals, and I was traveling across the south on Highway 10 and got out in West Texas, and we're out between nowhere and some nowhere else.
Nowhere and nowhere.
And and there was nothing but miles and miles and nothing but more miles and miles, and a scrub bush looked like a tree to me. There was the question of, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this where I'm supposed to be? And trusting in that I'm endeavoring to be faithful to the work, that my needs will be provided for. Plus with a little prodding, hey, I'm doing the work, the least you can do is cooperate a little bit and get me the hell out of here. And then, like I say, a few minutes later, a car came by and picked me up and took me where I was, in the general direction I was headed. But it's to have the heart, and one of the most difficult things is to maintain that faith that the universe will provide. Because you're dealing with something here that's, it's not like you're looking somebody in the face and the eye and, hey, I'm trusting you to take care of me, and show me the way. You're not really going to have an opportunity to do that. Not since the burning bush incident.
Yeah.
But in your being, though, if you're being faithful to what you're doing at the time, you will know the difference. You will know. And just you have to be open to that awareness that there is something, you're part of something much greater. And the thing that separates you from the majority of the rest of the world is you're embarked on a path for achieving enlightenment, and to pass that on to others who are also doing the same thing you're doing, and that's seeking knowledge and enlightenment. So where you all are now, there are others who hope to be where you're at. Which is why by the end of this series of lessons, you will become teachers yourselves. Now, some of you are already teachers in the skills that you have. This is just another tool in your arsenal.
You know, also, you hit my head, if you give other people support, you've already been there, you can give them support to say, hey, you know, it does come, and like you tell us that a lot of times, and it does. I can remember
Yeah,
the
well, remember
confusion and stuff.
Yeah, well, and teaching, all right, you know, remember the parable. Give a man a fish and he has food for a day. Teach him how to fish, he has food for life.
Yes, yes.
And that's what these lessons are.
Yeah, and you were just talking about it's how it's not tangible, talking to the you know, to the universe, that you can't look them in the face and say, you know, and I was thinking, I was listening to what you were saying, and it was making me think about how, you know, we all, you said if you believe, or you have a truth, and someone else has a truth, it becomes a universal truth, right?
Yeah.
So the more people, I mean, we have these truths and these things that aren't real tangible.
Right.
It does become more solid. It becomes more of something to hold on to when in those times of doubt.
Well, it becomes an affirmation too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharing is wonderful.
Yeah.
See, and that's why, you know, there are certain universal truths. Each individual finds them, discovers them on their own, and if they find it to be truth to them, and in discussions with others, they find, hey, you know, they had the same experiences, they have the same understandings. Then you can say, we've found the universal truth here.
Yep, I like that.
See, and the truths are there to be discovered. They're not one single person's property. They belong to everyone. And the more people who evolve and experience those, you know, then you have a camaraderie sort of that develops, because, you know, we have experienced the same thing. We have experienced the same depth of understanding. The rest of the world may not understand you, but, you know, that's not your problem. But individually, you work with, you know, you'll work with individuals eventually at some point as you choose, and you will be elevating their consciousness, you know, and you may never have a group as experienced and accelerated as you all are, but you're working with other individuals, and you know, those you can help, you help, and those that are just not quite getting it, you wish them well, and go about your business. And that's the way we work. We're not out to elevate the entire civilization. Only those individuals who are seeking enlightenment, who are looking for a bettering of their own selves and an understanding of where they are on their paths and in their development. And we don't have all the answers. No one does. We can only share with you what we know.
But isn't it nice to teach a group that wants to learn,
Yeah.
you know? Rather than be someplace where they have to be. And
Right, well,
Really,
I've worked with people who wanted to learn but were not at a point where they were capable of learning.
yeah, but that's not as bad as having a group of people that really just don't want to be.
See, which, you know, in the past, you know, if, those who charge for lessons will take anybody. You know, because they're looking at that income. Since I don't charge, I can say, you're not ready. And I can refuse to teach you.
And he did tell a couple people for the
Yeah.
class, they just,
And if I don't feel you're ready, I will be upfront and personal about it and say, you know, where you are, I will help you with where you are, but you're not ready to move on yet. You're clinging to things that you need to let go of. If you expect to grow, you know, you have to get ready to take on different clothes, and, you know, in the growth process. And so the things that, the anchors on your butt that are holding you back, you have to release those. And that's the difficult part, because people get too comfortable with their misery. And so they don't grow. Let it go. It was an experience then. You learn from it. You don't bring it with you. You go to a new store, buy new clothes. And that's the way it's supposed to work. Okay, well, let's take a little